Lesson number 6, using Pareto charts. The Pareto chart is named after the Italian economist Pareto, who discovered that 80% of a country's wealth was owned by only 20% of the population. And of this 20% owned 80% of the 80%. And this became known as the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle, and it holds true in a great deal of phenomena in the world. So back in lesson number 3, we talked about measuring frequency counts, and we used the example of an institution that wanted to measure its patient falls data and categorize them by reason of primary fall, by primary reason of the fall. So we had a chart that looked something like this. So we had the various reasons, and then we had some measure of their frequency. So let's assume that they had all the patient fall reports for 3 months, and there were a total of 50 of them. So while there's nothing magical about the number 50, it is enough to get us started with a Pareto chart. So if we were to just start filling these in, so reasons 4, 5, and 6, with, this is fake data, but we have to use something here. So 12, 18, 4, 1, and 6. So this is the table we have. And what we want to do now is order the reasons based on their frequency count from highest to lowest. So we're going to start, we're basically going to translate this over this way, so we'll have the reason and the count. So the highest is reason number 3 with 18. Then reason number 2 with 12. Reason number 1 with 9. Reason number 6 with 6. 4 with 4. And reason number 5 with only 1. And the total is 50. So we're now done with this. Now what we do is calculate the percent. So the percent that 18 is out of 50 is 36%. 12 is 24%, 9 is 18%, and so on. And now we're going to calculate something called the cumulative percent. And the cumulative percent is the sum of all percents up to the point where you are. So it's easiest just to go through this. So the sum of everything up to here is 36. The sum of everything, including reasons 3 and 2, is then 36 plus 24, which is 60%. Then we add the 18, that takes us to 78. Add the 12, that takes us to 90, 98%, and finally 100%. And this table is enough to get us started with our Pareto chart. So the Pareto chart actually has 3 axes, including 2 vertical and 1 horizontal. So the horizontal axes are the various reasons. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The left axis is the frequency count. And since we see the highest count is 18, let's just set this to 20. So halfway is 10, here's 5, and here's 15. This vertical axis is the cumulative percent. The maximum is 100%, halfway is 50, 25, about here is 75. So now we need to map this information onto the Pareto chart. So let's start with the frequency count. Reason 3, oh, you know what? This isn't right. So the highest comes first, so it's actually reason 3 will go here first. And it has 18. Reason 2 has 12. Reason 1 has 9. And lastly, reason 5 just has 1. So now that's the bar chart, if you will. Now we're going to map the cumulative percent. So starting with 36%, so I'm going to look for about 36%. It's going to be here. 60%, about here. 78%. 90. And 98 and 100. And then we're going to connect these in a line. And that's our Pareto chart. And what it shows us is that the first two reasons, so reason 3 and 2, are responsible for the vast majority of the falls that are happening. So in a quality improvement project, we would then focus on these two reasons. We'd focus on preventing them. And that's essentially how you use a Pareto chart.